Giving is a mindset, not controlled by rules. Well, people in the United States generally are known as a hospitable and giving people. Some of its wealthiest citizens have given a significant portion of that wealth to specific causes. And some of its poorest citizens have also given a substantial part of their wealth to particular causes. And in the United States, churches are generally supported through the giving of their congregants or parishioners rather than a governmental subsidy. This method of support is exactly the way it was with the returning Jews to Jerusalem. Everyone who gave willingly. If you're joining us in going through this reading plan through the book of Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther, today's reading is Ezra chapter 2, verses 61 through 70, and I encourage you to read that passage. Well, Ezra 2, verses 61 to 62 and 68 through 70 says this: Of the sons of the priests, the sons of Habaiah, the son of Hakkoz, the sons of Barzillai, who took a wife from the daughters of Barzillai the Gileadite, and he was called by their name. These searched among the ancestral registrations, but they could not be located, and therefore they were considered unclean and excluded from the priesthood. Some of the heads of the fathers' households, when they arrived at the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem, offered willingly for the house of God to restore it on its foundation, according to the ability that they gave to the treasury for the work of 61,000 gold drachmas and 50,000 silver minas and 100 priestly garments. Now the priests and the Levites, some of the people and the singers, the gatekeeper and the temple servants lived in the cities, and all Israel in their cities. Well, we spoke yesterday about the people who could not prove their lineage and were removed from serving in the temple. Today we are told the same thing occurred with priests. But in addition to that, we're told about a group of people who felt very strongly as to their mission from God. Verses 68 and 69 tells us that there was a group of people who gave a significant amount of money to restore the temple onto its foundations. And notice what it says in verse 69 about that giving. They gave according to their ability. Well, this statement is a significant point that needs to be driven home. In both the Old and New Testaments, giving to God was something which was of free will, not under compulsion. Even the tithe was free will. And let me explain that. Some people in a community might have known how much other people in that same community had received from their crops or livestock or work. And so they might have a good idea as to how much a person should give in his or her tithe. But nobody knew the exact amount. And if you lived far away from Jerusalem when you came to pay your tithe at the temple, they didn't know how much you had to pay. They relied on you to tell them. That is exactly why Malachi says that the people have robbed God. Malachi 3, verses 7 through 12. They had chosen to give less than what was prescribed, but it was their choice. In 2 Corinthians 9, Paul writes that it was the Corinthians' choice as to how much to give, but that chapter lays out a procedure and principle for the giving of that gift. Now, I know I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but sometimes we concentrate on a legalistic view of giving and not on the principle of how or what we should give. Everything that we have has been given to us by God. Therefore, we should not hold back anything we have in service to Him. Now, sometimes He'll want us to give up a lot, but we who are living for Christ should be gladly giving that so that God might be glorified.